If you want to blend a picture with a background in Photoshop and make it look smooth, natural, and professionally faded, this method is one of the easiest and cleanest ways to do it. Whether you're working with landscapes, textures, portraits, or product images, using a gradient mask gives you a seamless transition instead of a harsh cutout edge. In this tutorial, I'll walk you through the entire process step by step so you can follow along even if you're a beginner. And if this video helps you out, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more easy Photoshop tutorials just like this. Alright, let's jump right in. First, open Photoshop and load both of your images. You need a background image and the picture you want to blend into it. The easiest way to do this is to place the background image on the bottom layer, then drop the subject image directly on top of it in the Layers panel. The order matters because the top image is the one you'll be fading out into the image underneath. Once your layers are stacked correctly, click on the top image layer to make sure it's selected. Now go to the bottom of the Layers panel and click the Add Layer Mask icon. This is the little rectangle with a circle inside it. When you click it, Photoshop will add a white thumbnail next to your layer. That white thumbnail is your mask, and it's what gives you control over which parts of the image stay visible and which parts fade away. Now that the mask is added, it's time to choose the tool that does the blending. Press G on your keyboard to select the gradient tool. If the paint bucket or another tool appears instead, just click and hold that tool group until you see gradient tool in the menu. This is the key tool for creating that smooth fade effect. Next, look at the options bar at the top of the screen. You want the gradient set to foreground to background, which is the black to white gradient. You also want the style set to linear. These settings are important because the black to white gradient controls the fade direction, and the linear style gives you a clean, gradual transition across the image. Here's the part where the magic happens. Make sure you are clicking and dragging on the image itself, not on the mask thumbnail. Start at the area where you want the top image to remain fully visible, then drag toward the edge where you want it to fade out. When you release the mouse, Photoshop applies the gradient to the layer mask, and the image will begin blending smoothly into the background underneath. If the fade goes in the wrong direction, don't worry. You can just press Ctrl or Command plus Z to undo it and try again. Then drag in the opposite direction. A shorter drag creates a sharper transition, while a longer drag creates a softer, more gradual blend. That gives you a lot of control depending on the look you want. To understand how this works, remember this simple rule. Black hides pixels and white keeps them visible. On your layer mask, the black part makes the top image disappear, while the white part keeps it showing. The gray area in between creates the smooth fade. That's why this method is so effective for blending photos in a realistic way. If you want to improve the look even more, you can click back on the mask and apply another gradient until the transition feels just right. You can also move or resize your top image if needed, so the fade lands in the perfect spot. For landscapes and textured backgrounds, this technique works especially well because it avoids those obvious cut lines that can make a composite look fake. Once you're happy with the blend, zoom out and inspect the image closely. Look for any rough edges or areas that need a little more fading. If needed, you can use a soft brush on the mask to fine-tune certain spots manually, but in most cases, the gradient mask alone will give you a very polished result, and that's it. You've now learned how to blend a picture with a background in Photoshop using a smooth edge fade and gradient mask. It's fast, it's beginner-friendly, and it's one of the best techniques for creating clean image transitions. If this tutorial helped you, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next Photoshop tips and tricks video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.